What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you week 2 of season 8 of the CPC, and this week we are up against Burigo and his Milantic PC. And before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, as it helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. But anyway, on to the team. Like I said, we are up against Burigo, and his team consists of Mega Gallade, Hydreigon, Florges, Scizor, Raikou, Vaporeon, Porygon Z, one of my personal favorite mons, Celebi, Skuntank, Talonflame, and Mudsdale, with Hydreigon and Talonflame being his Z users. So right off the bat, very, very scary team that does not have a whole lot of speed to its name. I mean, the fastest mons he has are Mega Gallade and his Raikou. So, I mean, base 115, that's something that my Tapu Koko and my Mega Aerodactyl can very, very easily outspeed. As you can see, my Tapu Koko inherently outspeeds the Raikou. So it's just going to be something that, like, yeah, his team is kind of slow, but at the same time, it is insanely threatening. Like, Hydreigon, always a threat, Mega Gallade, insane threat to my team, with Cofagrigus being really my only way of taking it on, so that's why that thing is brought, obviously. Scizor being a great check to my fast mons like Tapu Koko and Mega Arrow, and then Porygon Z just being one of the scariest mons in basically the whole draft format. I mean, it's a mon that, like, I personally love. Adaptability Tri-Attack hits insanely hard to where usually, well, not usually, sometimes normal coverage is really all you have to go with on that mon, and then it has a myriad of boosting moves, it has agility, it has nasty plot, and it doesn't even need to run all that much coverage, so that's going to be something that I really have to watch out for. But at the same time, I am looking at my Tapu Koko and thinking that it can absolutely do a ton of work against his team. A mixed Tapu Koko, I was thinking about physical, but then I realized that, okay, well, first of all, he did some transactions and got Celebi and Mudsdale right before playing me, and I was just kind of like, wonder if that was targeted in the least. But considering both of those mons are very likely to come this week. But Mudsdale, I really would like to bring a fully physical Tapu Koko, but Mudsdale is just annoying enough that I decided that I needed to run a little bit of a mixed Tapu Koko with Grass Knot. And, like, his team is very, very scary, but at the same time, I think if I can get Toxic Spikes up, they will pressure him immensely, and also getting rocks up to where, like, I can chip him easily, and eventually, with all of the chip damage, with all of, like, the U-turning, the wing attacks, like, all of that, I think Rachi can set up in the end and either sweep or at least heavily dent his team to where things like Tapu Koko or Mega Arrow are able to clean up the game. So really, that's going to be my whole game plan. I have a really, really heat Rachi set that I'm hoping to show off this week. Like, if I can pull this off, that will be amazing. But either way, I'll start with my Tapu Koko. It's just your standard 4 attacks Tapu Koko that is physical in nature with U-turn, Grass Knot, Brave Bird, and Wild Charge. Brave Bird is there just because, I mean, it hits a little bit harder. It's kind of like a middle ground if I want to take out the Gallade, predict the Mudsdale. If I don't want to U-turn out against Celebi, just Brave Bird is really just kind of spammable against his team overall. I mean, apart from the Raikou, but if Raikou comes in, I can just U-turn on out of there. So Brave Bird, Wild Charge are my main ways of doing damage. U-turn is very nice for things like the Celebi, the Hydreigon. Just physical Tapu Koko's U-turn actually hits pretty significantly hard, so that's something that I'm 100% going to be trying to take advantage of, get momentum while doing significant chip to his mons and scaring out the mons like Celebi and the Hydreigon. And then Grass Knot, obviously, for the Mudsdale. The speed is there just for the Raikou. And yeah, I'm skipping over the Rachi because that's going to be the last set that I show off. Next up is going to be a little bit of a mixed Nidoqueen. Now, this Nidoqueen might look a little bit weird, but I went with Dual Stab on the special side and then Rock Slide and a Fizz Def Nidoqueen for his Talonflame. I mean, mainly this Nidoqueen's job is to get up rocks and prevent anything from being able to set up on me. A significant chunk of special attack investment combined with sheer force. Yes, Nidoqueen's attack is not that high or special attack rather, is not that high in and of itself, but with sheer force, I should be able to do enough to where things like Mega Gallade, things like Florges, Raikou, Porygon Z are not just able to set up on me for free. Like, they'll have to take a significant chunk of damage in order to try to set up on the Nidoqueen. And that's really all I'm going for with this Nidoqueen. I just want to be able to get up rocks, potentially stave off sweeps from his potential setup sweepers, and then just make Raikou have to kind of have, like, either significant coverage or a hidden power choke, even though it can very easily run extra sensory plus hidden power grass. Just I want to force Raikou to run those moves, because otherwise Raikou can be an actually pretty significant threat in this game. So that's the Nidoqueen. Next up is going to be my Swampert, and this is just kind of a pivot mon. Like, basically this is my mon that says, Hydreigon, you're not going to be sweeping me early on, or you're not going to be putting a huge dent into my team, just because this Swampert takes any 2 hits from Hydreigon. I believe Life Orb Draco Meteor is not a 2-hit KO on Swampert when you factor in the drop, so that's something that I really am looking for. Like, that's exactly what I wanted Swampert for. And then just the coverage moves are, okay, whatever is in, I'm going to be able to hit it for a very nice chunk. Ice Punch is for like the Hydreigon and the Celebi. Earthquake is very spammable against the rest of his team. Scald, potentially can get a burn, and HP Fire is for the Scizor, who will probably be his defogger in this matchup. Florges is just way too ridiculously exploitable. If Hydreigon is the defogger, well then happy birthday to me. That mon being forced into the defog role means that it cannot apply as much offensive pressure as he might necessarily want it to, so that's something that I'm definitely going to be looking for. It's like, okay, just Swampert should be able to just stave off the special hits from like Hydreigon, from Porygon Z, stuff like that, and be able to just at least chip stuff, and put the rest of my mons in a good position to win the game. Next up is going to be a physically defensive Colbur Berry Cofagrigus with Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, Hex, and Pain Split. Just a very, very straightforward set. It's to try to take on the Mega Gallade while also spreading around status, chip damage. I mean, this is the ultimate chip damage mon for this matchup. Like, if I can get Toxic Spikes up, if I can Will-O-Wisp things like the Hydreigon and the Scizor, like just all of that little chip damage will go towards my Jirachi potentially sweeping in the end, or like my Tapu Koko or my Mega Arrow. But yeah, Cofagrigus is just the ultimate setup mon, or the ultimate chip damage mon. That's what I was going for. And also the fact that it can prevent PZ from being able to just spam like a nasty plotted tri-attack with complete impunity. Like, that's nice. I mean, I'm also bringing Jirachi and my Mega Arrow, so Porygon Z can't exactly freely spam his tri-attack, but it's still like, it still does good damage, and so it's just nice to have a mon. It's like, okay, your specs, well, I can always switch this in to tri-attack, and you're not going to be able to hit me at all, so that's what I'm going for with my Cofagrigus. And next up is going to be Mega Arrow. This is a bulky Mega Arrow. This is just kind of a pivot mon with dual stab that really does work against his team. It really like takes out his bulkier mons against things like Mega Gallade. It can two-shot them while not being two-shot in return, or in the case of close combat, it can take the close combat pretty easily. Even after rocks, I believe I take close combat from Jolly Mega Gallade, and then I will be able to OHKO it back with a with his -1 defense and my wing attack. I will be able to take that thing out. The speed is enough for Raikou just to be able to rock slide that thing if I need to, and then taunt for things like the Celebi, the Skuntank, just all of those mons that potentially can set up rocks or spread around status. The annoying mons, I will be able to prevent them from doing their whole shenanigans. Finally, we have Jirachi, and this is a set that I 100% came up with completely on my own, had absolutely no input from anybody else, especially not a person named Anthony Zazzo or Purple Raven something or other. Yeah, like that Purple Raven guy, I don't even know who he is, but he definitely did not have any input into the set whatsoever, or was not the inspiration for the set. But yeah, Cosmic Power, Weakness Policy Rachi. Now, I know that Calm Mind would be a lot safer, but okay, when else am I going to be able to run this type of Jirachi? Like, Cosmic Power, Moonblast, Psyshock, HP Fire cover his team very, very nicely. I'm able to set up a Cosmic Power on things like the Scizor, things like the Vaporeon, Celebi, Porygon Z. Like, there's actually quite a few things on his team that I can set up a Cosmic Power on while being hit with a super effective attack, and with that +1 defense or +1 special defense, I won't be able to even be hit as hard or revenged as easily. So this Jirachi can potentially punch a huge hole in his team, or even like potentially clean up. Like, this Jirachi has tons and tons of potential that I'm really, really hoping to show off in this game. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right on over to the battle. Alrighty, here we are in the battle, and the first thing I'm noticing is that there is no Skun tank, so as soon as I get up my Toxic Spikes, they cannot be absorbed by anything, forcing a defog from either the Hydreigon or the Scizor, and I'm also noticing that he didn't bring any mons like Florges, Vaporeon, or Skun tank, so odds are that he's going to try to take a little bit more of an offensive approach. I mean, that doesn't change my game plan a whole lot, but it's something that I just have to keep in mind. But he does have the Porygon Z, which means that I will have to be very careful with one of my 3 resist or immunes. Like, I just have to keep one of them healthy to where I can take the Porygon Z on if it does get set up. But my game plan does not change at all. I'm going to lead off with my Tapu Koko, as I know I can take even I have like a more than likely able to take a modest Hydreigon's Earth Power, I believe, or I think it's like very in my favor, if not guaranteed. But either way, gonna go straight for the U-turn as he brings in Mudsdale. Like, his lead for Celebi, or his lead with Celebi was perfect for me, as even if Celebi stayed in to get up rocks, I get an insane chunk off on that thing, and Mudsdale comes in. That damage reveals that he is not very defensive, if at all, so definitely my assumption of a Spadef Mudsdale is more than likely the case, but this does give me a free opportunity to go into my Cofagrigus and just go ahead and get my Toxic Spikes set up right off the bat, as it either forces a defog or it will get residual damage on anything that comes in. He does Toxic me, which I mean is a good play. Cofagrigus will get worn down slowly, but my Toxic Spikes are up. I can fire off a Will-O-Wisp, as either that hits the Mudsdale and neutralizes his leftovers, or it does catch the Hydreigon or Scizor on the switch. Just basically, no matter what he went into, something was going to get status that turn, and even if Mudsdale stayed in and I wasn't able to, and I was able to get the burn off as opposed to poison, even though poison does more, that does mean that Mudsdale is more easily set up on by Jirachi later in the game. So getting this Wisp on Hydreigon is huge, because that thing will be chipped down very quickly, and as soon as that thing is gone, just makes my life a whole heck of a lot easier. But with the Hydreigon in against my Cofagrigus, obviously I don't want to stay in with this thing. I'm going to go straight into my Swampert, as it's my dedicated Hydreigon pivot, and he goes for Earth Power, which reveals that he is Life Orb, and that's actually a lot less scary than Z, just because, yeah, this is going to be doing a little bit more damage. But either way, Life Orb Hydreigon, seeing that means I don't have to worry about trying to figure out if he's bluffing Scarf or whatever. Tapu Koko will always be able to come in and U-turn on that thing, and it's just basically works out very well. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch as I'm slowly wearing him down. I will win this exchange 1v1 until he reveals the Roost, but I am still able to damage this Hydreigon significantly. But considering I'm thinking he's going to go for a Roost once again, I'm actually just going to stay in, go for the Ice Punch. Maybe I can get a crit, and even if I stay in this entire time, like, even if he slowly chips me down and just continually goes for Roost, even though he gets back up to higher health, my Swampert's getting back up to higher health as well with my leftovers. So the less he attacks, the more health my Swampert gets, and I really have no reason to just stay in, or I have a reason to stay in. I have no reason to switch out, because, okay, Swampert's there to take on Hydreigon, and not much else. He goes into his Scizor, and while I could just fire off the HP Fire, just try to weaken this thing, I'm thinking that, okay, I need Swampert still healthy for the Hydreigon, so if the Scizor happens to be like a banded set with U-turn, that could really, really heavily damage my Swampert, and at this point, I'm still able to not switch in on Dragon Pulse, but after a little bit more leftovers, I can potentially switch into, I can right now switch into Earth Power into Dragon Pulse. So yeah, I'm going to save my Swampert, go straight into my defensive Nidoqueen as I can, threaten this thing out with an Earth Power, or at the very least get up my rocks as he does Defog. And considering the Scizor went immediately for Defog, I'm thinking it's some sort of support variant, so I'm just going to get up my rocks as there's absolutely no reason not to. And with the Hydreigon in, I really wanted to go Koko, but couldn't risk the Earth Power, so I'm going to go straight into my Mega Aerodactyl, take the Life Orb Dragon Pulse, so a good play on his part, does about 60 to me, but this Hydreigon is getting lower and lower. I'm actually going to stay in and go for the Roost right here, as if he wanted to go for Roost, well, cool, my Aerodactyl's at a higher health, his Hydreigon's at a higher health, but he is burned, and I will be able to go for the wing attack to start wearing that thing down, as he just goes straight into his Scizor once again. So now, not pulling any punches, going back into my Nidoqueen. I can always get my rocks back up if he defogs. I can take the Bullet Punch as he just goes for U-turn and goes into his Gallade. Now, there is a very, very high likelihood that this Gallade is a substitute variant. And, I mean, he brought it in on Nidoqueen, which makes sense. He could just easily go for this Send Headbutt right off the bat. But I really, really wanted to call that he was going to go for sub, but I couldn't risk it, as considering how healthy my Mega Arrow is and considering how rocks are not up on my side, there is zero reason for me not to go to Mega Arrow, because, okay, what are the potential plays he could go for? If he goes for Zen Headbutt, cool, Mega Arrow takes that, and then I'm in against Gallade, and I will be able to Wing Attack to get it very low. If he goes for Sub, then okay, Mega Arrow is in at very high health against a Gallade with a Sub up, and he cannot kill me with a combination of, like, basically, if he has Drain Punch will not be able to 2-hit KO me, and even though I won't be able to OHKO him back after I break his Sub, he's not able to KO me after I break the Sub either, and so Mega Arrow is still in against a significantly weakened Mega Gallade, and even though I'm significantly weakened too, if I can take this thing out, that's great. If he has close combat, then I break the Sub, and once he's -1, I will be able to take him out from full with a Wing Attack. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, as lo and behold, he ends up being a substitute variant and is able to get the substitute up. So I was like, I should have called that, but I just couldn't risk my Nidoqueen. I wanted as many things at as high a health as possible, particularly for like the Scizor and the Porygon Z late in the game, as I Wing Attack, break his Sub, and he crits me with the Drain Punch. Now that is absolutely huge, because obviously, based on that damage, Aerodactyl would not have gone down, and he will be able to KO me with a second Drain Punch. That puts me in a really, really, really horrible position. So yeah, I mean, his Gallade is low, like it's at around 40%, but Tapu Koko has to be my play here, because I don't want Cofagrigus to take any more damage than it has to, considering I would like it for getting up Toxic Spikes once again, and I need every opportunity that I can to get up Toxic Spikes and as much health as I can. Nothing else on my team outspeeds, so Tapu Koko has to come in. I cannot kill with U-turn, because otherwise that would 100% be my play, and it's a 50-50 at this point. So Mudsdale is still very healthy. Mudsdale is at 95% and Toxic Spikes aren't even up. So Mudsdale is a very, very, very obvious play that my opponent can go to with relatively no drawback, except for me potentially getting switch advantage on him if I go for U-turn. However, because of that crit, I need to make a play to put myself back in the driver's seat. I'm thinking that, okay, Mudsdale is way too obvious of a play. I think he's going to try to stay in with his Gallade and try to get extra damage off on either my Tapu Koko or something that will come in on the switch. So instead of predicting the Mudsdale, as obvious as it is, and going for the U-turn, I'm just going to go straight for the Wild Charge, as I felt like I had the read, and luckily for me, he stays in with his Gallade, and I am able to take that out. So that is absolutely insanely gigantic that I was able to take that out, because that is an enormous threat just right off the table. And with his Hydreigon as low as it is, it cannot switch in, and like it switches in, it takes rocks, and after burn, it just dies. So this is an amazing spot for me. I'm going to U-turn on the Mudsdale once again, go into my Cofagrigus, and now I'm going to set up the T-Spikes once again as he sacks off his Hydreigon, and this works out perfectly for me because Mega Gallade's dead, Hydreigon's dead, Rocks and Toxic Spikes are up. No matter what he goes into, will either get poisoned, or if Scizor came in to defog, I would be able to wisp that thing. He goes into his Mudsdale, and it gets poisoned, which is amazing. Additionally, I will be able to get some very good chip damage off with the combination of Hex and the regular poison from Toxic Spikes. So at this point, I'm just going to sack off my Cofagrigus. I know that if he wants to, like if he wanted to knock me out with Earthquake, he would. I didn't have enough HP to take that, and there are a couple plays he can make. If he did not KO me with his Mudsdale in that turn, he was either switching or going for rest. Either way, whatever play he made that wasn't knocking me out would be to a Mon that had a higher amount of HP, to where I can potentially get HP back with Pain Split. So that's exactly what I go for, as he does go into his Scizor, and I get enough HP to where I will be able to live this turn of poison. And with Scizor in, I'm thinking that, okay, he had to bring this thing in just to try to get a last-ditch roost off. But considering I'm poisoned, I'm going to go straight for the Toxic Spikes once again, as those are way too important for me not to have up in the end game with Porygon Z and Celebi. So I just went for those in case he wanted to defog, as I would be able to, well, as I would die to the poison on that turn, as he actually goes back into his Mudsdale, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I have 2 layers of Toxic Spikes now. But with Mudsdale as low as it is, I'm going to go straight into my Tapu Koko and fire off my Grass Knot. I don't want to reveal my Z just yet. I want to make him think that I might have Z Electric, so he's more hesitant to try to set up with Porygon on me, and I'm sure that a Wild Charge would still do enough, but basically I just want to keep I want to keep the mystery a little longer. Scizor comes in, if it wants to defog, that's fine. It goes for Bullet Punch, it does a very nice chunk, but I will be able to take that thing out with Wild Charge, and at this point I do have the game won. I can potentially set up with my Jirachi on like Celebi or Porygon Z, but Celebi comes in, I'm going to go for U-turn, do a massive chunk, and just kind of sack off my Swampert at this point. I was thinking that, okay, Swampert's not going to do a whole lot. Yeah, he will be able to get a decent amount of HP back with Giga Drain at this point, but then Tapu Koko can just come in, U-turn once again, knock out the Celebi, but he actually just leaves his Celebi into, well, I mean, obviously he leaves it in, but he goes for Stealth Rock instead of knocking me out, and now it's Swampert at 56%. Porygon Z and the Rocks and Poison will not be able to, I mean, if he specs, he'll be able to OHKO me, but he won't be able to set up on my Swampert unless he's like a Life Orb variant, but even then I'm not sure that that would quite do enough damage with a Life Orb as opposed to Silk Scarf, which is what he was, and yeah, it wouldn't have done enough with Life Orb. So basically, Swampert getting to enough health as it was. I was a little bit scared that maybe the Porygon was just the perfect combination of bulky and the right moves to sweep me, but nope, luckily it wasn't. Swampert, with the amount of Spadef I had, was able to take that thing out, and we are able to win the game 4-0. Unfortunately, with Jirachi not doing anything at all. It just kind of sat there and looked pretty, but the reassurance that I did have of it being on the bench just waiting to come in, it would have had the ability to set up on almost anything on his team, and that would have really put me in an amazing position. And I think Jirachi could have swept late if I prioritized that, but nah, I just played it safe, kept my hazards up, and we were able to win that game. So good game to Bury. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.